this is Sheila Cox, 5-star real estate agent in Katy, Sugar Land, and Richmond, Texas. And I want to talk to you today about home tours. Okay, so you're getting ready. You've got my custom search. You've been looking at houses online, and now you're ready to go tour some houses in person. So you want to set up a home tour. Now, there's some information that you need to know about that. For safety reasons, I can't just go out and meet total strangers in vacant houses, okay? Believe it or not, some real estate agents have been murdered. So I'm not going to do that. I'm going to need to know a little bit more about you before we go tour some homes. I usually meet new clients the first time either at my office or some other public place. And before I'm going to go look at vacant houses with you, I'm going to need copies of your driver's license. So you need to know that right off the bat. That's just part of the recommended safety protocol for all real estate agents, although not everybody does that, but I do because I am a safety girl. So that's a few things. Also, before we get started on the first tour, there's going to be some paperwork that I have to send you. The Texas Real Estate Commission and my broker both require certain disclosures to be sent to you. These are kind of like HIPAA forms in the medical industry, but for real estate, there's different disclosures that we need to send you to make sure you have a lot of information about buying homes in this area. So I'm going to want to send that to you, and that means I'm going to need both of your names. I say both because it's often couples that are going to look at homes. So I'm going to need both people's full names and email addresses so I can email these docs to you, and you're going to e-sign them online. So I'm going to need you to send me an email with that. Also include your current address because the other thing that I need to send you is the buyer representation agreement. Now, don't get scared. People hear that and they start getting nervous. But if you watch my video on who represents whom in Texas or about agency in Texas, I'm going to go over the buyer's representation a little bit with you. This is a document that ties me to you to ensure confidentiality and to ensure fiduciary duty and responsibility to you. Not all agents are looking out for a buyer's best interest. If you don't have a buyer's representation agreement with someone, then that real estate agent is representing the seller, not the buyer. And this is very confusing to people, but if they're using and they're a member of the MLS, there can only be one of three ways that any agent can represent someone in Texas. One is the listing agent representing the seller, one is a sub-agent representing the seller, and one is the buyer's agent representing the buyer. But to have that, you have to have a buyer's representation agreement in hand. So make sure you go watch that video, which brings me to the next point. I do need you to watch a couple of videos. I used to do this in person and go over all this with you in person, but hey, it's the day of videos. So you can learn about the information about brokerage services and buyer's rep agreements, and it's better to look at it online anyway, because I'm going to show you some behind the scenes, some backdoor things that most people don't even know about. A lot of real estate agents probably can't even explain it to you. You're really going to want to know that information. It is required by law that I give it to you, so please watch those videos, and I'll put them in the link below, and they're part of the playlist, so you can see all that. Another thing that we need to talk about ahead of time is timing. Obviously, there's a lot to be done before we go out the first time. So I'd like you to give me as much notice as possible before we go on a big home tour so that I can send you all the paperwork and we can get the video links. We can go over everything before we go out. Then after the first time, so the first time, if you can give me a week's notice, that's good. I do book up in advance. So if you're going to be traveling in, you really need to get on my schedule ahead of time. If I'm not available, I will find, I work with several very high quality experienced real estate agents that I can have help you if I'm not available. I do book up, guys. I'm only one person. I don't have a big real estate team because that's not my personality and that's not who I want to be. So if I do book up though, don't worry, because I will get a very, very highly regarded experienced agent to take care of you. I've got several that I work with all the time and my clients really like. So if I'm not available, I can take care of that for you. But I do like a week's notice for the great big one tour if we're going to do a big tour of 6 to 10 houses in one day. And then after the first meeting, then I usually only need 24 hours notice. Now, and that's usually because then we're only going to be looking at onesies and twosies instead of a big old tour. Keep in mind that I have to make an appointments with listing agents. I can't just go show houses. I have to go through a whole appointment process and approval process to get permission to show the homes. And some of these homes are occupied and some of them require 24 hours notice. So this myth of being able to call an agent and go look at houses that afternoon, that's old school, that's inexperienced, amateurish ways of doing things. I do things the professional way, and that means I'm going to need a little bit more notice before I run out and start showing you houses. But the good news is we're going to find you a great house. I'm on your side. I'm going to be looking out for things that could be defective with a home. You're going to be looking at colors and floor plan and how pretty the house is. I'm going to be looking for deferred maintenance, foundation problems, long-term resale problems, and those kinds of things. So it's a good team. It's good to have both sides of that. And that's what we're going to have when we go on a home tour. So let me know if you're ready. Send me an email, names, address, and emails. Thanks. Take care.